All right, hello and welcome back to the show. I'm your host Manny Friedman, along with my co-host.
Brad Sloan back in the saddle again. I think this is round. We've done one every round now. Like, so we are truly
Yes.
podcasting champions. We've made the semifinals of the podcasting tournament.
Yeah, the tournament is coming to an end, so that means the matches are getting more important, but there are also less matches. So we'll kind of dive deeper into the prop markets. I apologize that this is a little bit late. I know it's coming up to the semifinals. The semifinals are about half an hour away, but I'm hoping you see this. As always, you can check out our best bets on Twitter.
Game bet match 1, 2, 3.
Yes. All right, let's get right into it. I'm going to share my screen here. I'm going to zoom in. All right, so we're going to actually start by previewing the semifinals because they're coming up so soon, and then we'll recap our quarterfinal bets at the end of the show today. And if you want to watch some hockey, I got the Devils game on the background. So if you're bored of listening to us, you can always do that.
You can kind of see that it's ice, Manny. You can kind of see that it's ice, and you can kind of see that, like, maybe there's some players skating around. You definitely cannot see the puck. It's hard to watch hockey. I mean, you can't see the puck in hockey to start with, but it's hard to watch hockey when you truly can't see the puck.
That's true.
I can just see like a player skating on ice. It could be figure skating for all I know.
All right, so let's talk about the Tsitsipas Kachanov match first. So Brad, what do you have? Let's
just set the scene first, right? It's Kachanov. The line, as I see it right now, is Kachanov -4.5 or +4.5. I saw it at -4 before. Now I've seen it go up as days gone on.
Mm-hmm.
Money line, you're talking +235 for Kachanov, -290 for Tsitsipas. I saw that at +200 earlier, so the money's definitely going Tsitsipas's way. Over under has gone up to 39.5. I saw actually at 38.5 this morning.
That's what I saw too. Yeah,
definitely going up.
That's actually interesting because over the last couple of days on Twitter, I was actually seeing more pro Kachanov. Is that what you saw?
Yeah, I was, but I think I don't know. Maybe it's I don't know. I don't know when. It might be that the late money is coming in on Tsitsipas. I don't know.
Okay.
My thoughts on this line is I think it's really well set. If I was setting the line, I actually would have set it at Tsitsipas -4, which is where it came out at, which is why I didn't bet it at all. Moving it to from 4 to 4.5, like, I'm more likely to bet Kachanov, but I'm not going to give up the juice to do it for half a game, right? And I think the money line's almost perfect too. Like, I had this as I had this literally where the book said it, like at a -200. I was 100% in agreement with the books. If anything, actually, I think to play is maybe the Tsitsipas money line. Kachanov really has struggled in his career against top 10 players, and I think he's
really over
his last 17 or something. So even if he's physically in the match and playing well, there still could be a mental gap to overcome there. So I think that's the only play is the on the basics is this if you want to take a side, is the Tsitsipas money line at -290. But I mean that's just brutal. That's just not. I mean, it's just not fun. Like, but I do think there's probably value there.
Yeah,
I think
it's just too much juice.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's probably there's if there's any value, there might be a little in the -290. I'm not taking it because it's just so boring. I'd rather hit the props. But
So you think there's like what almost an 80% chance that Tsitsipas wins this?
I do. Kachanov's playing really well, but Tsitsipas is playing really well also. And I just think there's I think that in terms of what I've seen so far, I'd put it at the 70 to 75% that the books are putting it at.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's a 5% chance that mental problem of not being able to beat top guys flips in for Kachanov and decides the match. I'm not saying
what would the price need to be for you to take Kachanov in this match?
Big, like +500 maybe.
Really?
I would need a huge line. Yeah, +400, +500. I mean, Tsitsipas is playing better right now. And then, I mean, 0 for 17 in his last 17 matches, I think, against top 10 players, no? Tsitsipas does not fare well against guys better than him. And so, I think there's a 10% chance he gets to the finish line and mentally collapses because he hasn't beaten a top guy in so long. Biggest match of his life. Tsitsipas has made a few finals.
Yeah.
I think
Well, Kachanov made the semis of the U.S. Open, lost to 4 sets and Rude, which I think is actually a better matchup for Kachanov than Tsitsipas. I just think Tsitsipas also his game is not suited for Kachanov because Kachanov he's a decent defender, but that's not the strength of his game, and he's going to have to play a lot of defense against Tsitsipas's like good offensive game.
I agree, and Tsitsipas is the better server.
Right.
I think even I mean, the ace count will be pretty similar. I don't actually like the ace play either way tonight,
Okay.
but the Tsitsipas is really good on serve. And
Yeah.
his serve, like he's really good at like using. He's really good. We've talked about this before. He's really good at using the serve to set up the +1.
Right.
He's probably the best guy on the tour at that, using the serve to set
Yep.
up his +1
I'd agree with
forehand.
that. I'd agree with
And
that.
so I think that's
But
gonna be a major.
that being said, he did have, to save quite a few break points against Lechka, right? There were a couple games when he had love 40 and he saved those break points, credit to him. But, like he is sometimes prone to having some mental lapses and giving up a weak game, right?
But it's really interesting, right? Because he's like, you say that, but then he's holding off these break points, right? So like, and I thought he served the whole term. I thought he served really well in big moments, like when facing break points. Even the first few rounds, right? Like even the tiebreak against Griekspoor, he suddenly played really well. So I think there's been Tsitsipas continues to work. We bash Tsitsipas a lot, but he continues to work on his game. I mean, he's gotten his return game's gotten a lot better. It still isn't good. It still is probably slightly below average, but
And he's
it's
making a
much better
conscious
than it was.
effort of working on his backhand slice as well.
Well, I also think he's hitting the backhand top's been better. Still not
Okay.
good. I think still below average, but I mean, you and I
Yeah.
used to comment, man, it was a huge liability before.
Right.
I don't think it's a massive liability anymore. I think it's it's not a
Yeah.
strength, but it's like,
Right.
okay.
But that being said, backhand to backhand clearly favors Kachanov in this matchup, right? So
Right,
that's
but serve +1 favors Tsitsipas, which is probably the most important part of the game. Right, the average
right.
rally is less than 4 strokes.
Forehand to
So
forehand favors Tsitsipas.
and the forehand majorly favors Tsitsipas. So
Yeah.
I
The head to head is also 5-1 in favor of Tsitsipas. See, if it was, I wouldn't go as far as +500. This is still a Grand Slam semifinal. So if it was +300 or +305, that's when I would head towards Kachanov.
yeah. So in terms of actual playing ability, I agree. I just think there's like a 10% chance that Kachanov just like I'm worried about this 0-17 in the last 17 match against top 10 guys thing.
Fair.
Like it's not good, and we see why, right? We see why he doesn't have the game to beat top 10 guys.
Yeah.
He's playing better. I mean, he outplayed Tiafoe, and Tiafoe is a top 20 player in the world. So I hear I'm probably being slightly ridiculous at a +500, but
You could get that price. I mean, that would hammer Kachanov.
that's why. I mean, so would everybody else. That's why you're not going to get that. But that's why my point is. I think the money the play is to even go against the juice and to bet Tsitsipas on the money line. I'd rather hit props because it's more fun and like I don't know. Just
props
hitting
are amazing.
is so boring.
Yeah, let's get right into that because I think there are quite a few props which I like here. I guess I'll go first. So the couple props I placed in this match are first Tsitsipas money line versus Kachanov and over 38.5 games. So I do think Kachanov wins a set here. I think the most probable result is 4 sets.
That's at +2. Was that a plus? I saw that at +290. I think earlier. Would you hit that? That seems like a good hit.
What? Oh, Kachanov 3-1.
No, Tsitsipas 3-1. But yeah, I think that's what you meant.
Oh yeah, I mean, I was thinking about that too. I just like because I could actually see it go 5 in a way. If Tsitsipas gets tight, I don't see Kachanov winning in 5, but I do see the match going to 5. Also, both guys are really fit. They can, going 5 sets is not a concern for either guy. So I just wanted to play the over 38.5 because that could hit if it goes 4 as well. So, and that's +162, which I didn't think was bad. So I think the over 38.5 it's actually a good play now because the line went to 39.5. So the books clearly think it's going to be a longer match. So I think that was a good play. I like Tsitsipas to serve more double faults than Kachanov at +150. So I think Tsitsipas or Kachanov like you would think he would serve more doubles because like I feel like he's going to be under more pressure in his service games, right? So you would think that Kachanov would serve more doubles, but Tsitsipas actually like he served 5 doubles against Griekspoor. Um, so he has a tendency to serve some doubles, and
What was the line on that
that's plus 150.
for Tsitsipas to serve more doubles?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. Let me look up the stats on this because I looked at this line, but statistically, I think Kachanov is the more likely is the guy who serves more doubles. But Tsitsipas has had some weird yips kind of in this tournament with the doubles. So I hear your point. I didn't hit it either way because I kind of thought the two canceled out, and I think it'll be.
Well, I do think. I mean, you're getting plus money on this bet, right? So I think Kachanov probably will serve more doubles just because he'll probably be under more pressure on his service games, right? But that being
And then
said, if you
my other
eliminate that
issue.
variable, it's about even. So I think taking the plus money is the right play here.
Yeah, I mean, my other concern here, and I'm actually just looking at the double stats for both these guys now. But hitting one guy or the other on the doubles prop is tough because like I talk about this all the time, how much I love to bet the same number of doubles, but like you're talking about pretty low numbers, so there is a decent chance that they tie. And then is that a push for you, or did you bet him to truly serve more doubles that you have that it's like that he has to hit
He
more
has
doubles?
to serve more doubles. If it's a tie, then
Yeah, so that could be pain for you. I'm
could
looking.
be.
I mean, over this year, Kachanov is at 3.5% of service points on double faults. Tsitsipas is at 2. So that's kind of the thing that counteracted me. That's why I stayed away. But I did see what you were looking at. I mean, I looked at this line. I saw kind of some stuff go one way and some the other way, and so I just avoided. I think the line's
Okay.
I think it's pretty well
pretty
set.
good. It's plus money, right? So
Yeah.
Tsitsipas also has number 1 in play here, so that might start
Can
getting
he be
into
number
your head.
1? Can he take over
He
number 1
could,
if he
yeah.
wins?
I think the winner of Tsitsipas Novak, if they do play in the final, I think
Would
gets
be number 1. Cool.
So it's
Cool.
it's interesting. So I think that like there are some nerves that could creep in here, especially if the match gets tight. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. And then Tsitsipas and Kachanov have the same number of aces. Like they're pretty similar in terms of to use that word again, serving prowess.
Yeah, I actually don't think that's a
So
bad bet. It's like plus 1400, right?
yeah. Did
Yeah,
you
I
hit it as
didn't.
well?
I did not, but I might tell you on it right now because it's just so
Okay.
big. It's such a
It's
big
so big.
line.
Yeah, exactly. So um
Um, and I actually, so what's interesting here though is Kachanov is a little bit better. He has a few more aces this tournament.
yeah.
But that's kind of fool's gold because I was looking at the aces line, and so he's faced Nishioka and Tiafo. So who is the here's the trivia question for you, Manny. Who is the which player gets ace the most on the ATP tour?
It might be Tiafo because it sounds like you're trying to trick me.
No, it's Yoshi.
It's Yoshi. Well, that I could see because
Because he's
he has
small,
no
right?
reach.
He's small. It's
Right.
he doesn't have the reach, right? So so he's and Tiafo's in the bottom 5. You and I have had this conversation before. So the aces that and then catch on with a bunch of aces in his quarter, but quarter was hurt. So I'm not buying into this sudden run of aces this term. I think it's more just running up against guys who are easier to ace. Whereas Tsitsipas also hasn't had that many aces this tournament. His ace percentage has been like the 7 to 9 range, I think. So
And what's Tsitsipas's first serve percentage in this tournament?
ooh, that's a
Have that stat?
good question. That is a stat. I can pull that up. So he made 80% against Lechka, which I remember, 70 against Sinner. That's the only time he really did, or 67 against Sinner,
That's
82
pretty high
against
over
Greek
5
Score.
sets.
Well, yeah, 79 against Rinky and 84 against Hallis. So he's had some, but I feel like he's gone like more conservative on the first serve, but not really. Like too conservative to hit aces. But again, like he's so good at setting up that +1.
He is.
And I
Right.
feel like
He
another
doesn't
thing is
even
he's
need to hit an
realized
ace.
that.
Yeah.
I feel like he's realized that and has started to even serve in a way to make the first serve, force the mediocre return, not even necessarily weak, but mediocre return, and set up that great +1. which I think is great for him. Like he doesn't need to hit 30 aces because
He
has
will
that
need, he
forehand.
will against Novak, right? Because his redlining serve is basically like a 3/4 first serve against everyone else, right? So because Novak gets so many returns back, right? So I think no, I mean, but
It's funny though, actually. So he does get so many returns back in play, but even Novak actually gets ace more than the average ATP player, which you would
really
never think. Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, he's not in the bottom 5 or
I
anything,
would
but he
expect Medvedev to get least the most out of any ATP player, right?
to get ace the most. No, he's like at the
No,
very
no, the
bottom.
least. I mean, the
The least.
least.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Medvedev
that's
is
what I would
near the
expect
bottom.
because of how
Yeah.
far he
Yeah,
stays
Djokovic
back.
stands up pretty far, so he actually gets aced quite a bit. But you're right, when he doesn't, when it's from, I think for Djokovic more than when he gets it, when he gets the return in, like Djokovic doesn't hit weak returns.
No,
Like when
exactly.
he gets the return in, it's bad for you as the server, which I think is
Yeah,
a
because
really
you
good
got to start
strategy.
from
Like,
scratch and play an insane point just to win,
right,
right?
which I actually think is a really good strategy for Novak. But anyways, we'll stay on this match for a bit because we're not talking about Novak.
Right,
Um,
right. And then I'm expecting a 4-set match, so I got over 5.5 breaks at plus 120. I think that's good. Also, Kachanov to win the first set at plus 137. I think if there is a set that Kachanov wins, I think it's probably the first. First, actually, to me, is more likely than second. And the reason for that is because I think Kachanov has started these matches really well. Like he started on fire against Tiafoe, love and love against Nishioka. He came out on fire against Korda. He was the one that had the early break. So he's started matches really well in this tournament. So
so you have him at
that's
plus
where I'm going.
134, the money line.
What was that?
You have the money line, the first set money line at plus 134. It's gone up
137.
to plus 170.
Really?
Yeah, it's gone up 35 cents. That's almost interesting to me because I agree with you. I think that Kachanov's best chance is in the first set. I'm still not hitting it. I still don't think it's very good. I think that I do think Tsitsipas is the better player here
Plus
by a pretty thin
170.
margin
Jesus. I
for the
might have
first set from
I'm
Kachanov.
actually gonna hit that right now.
Yeah. Well, I hit the aces. I tailed you on the aces, or on the same number of aces for both. I think it's pretty close. I think. So yes, I tailed you there at 1,400.
Okay. Yeah, the fact that that price went up to plus 170, I'm definitely gonna hit that. I like that a lot. All right, so that's basically all I had. This is a match I'm probably gonna look at live betting if Kachanov wins the first set, because I think that there will be good live betting opportunity. If Kachanov wins the first set, I expect Tsitsipas to be like a minus 140, 45, 150 to win the match, right? In that area. And
That sounds right. Yeah, I mean that's so what's this 1 minus 1.5 set spread? Is that like minus 170 or something? Right? It's I think so. It'll probably be that. So you're pretty close. It might be minus 150 or minus 140 because then like if Kachanov wins the first, you would suddenly believe he's the better player. Maybe.
Let's see.
I'll probably looking to tail you on that. That's a great point.
It's minus 165. But
So
I
it's going
think
down a little bit. Yeah, I saw it at 170 before. But that's pretty close.
based
5
on
cents.
like how the match is going, like if Kachanov plays a really solid first set, maybe has break point in the first set, maybe that's when I hit Tsitsipas. So that's just something I'm gonna look out for, during
Yeah.
the match. I don't feel like betting the minus 1.5 right now, giving that juice, but so let's go. What do you have here?
So I've got. I mean, I love prop betting. So I've got a ton of stuff. My favorite bets are two that are pretty similar. I've got Kachanov to break serve in I have a bunch of stuff around breaks. So I have the over on 5.5 breaks. I posted that as my bet of the day.
Okay.
But then I got a bunch of other cool stuff at plus money also. I got Kachanov to break serve in both of the first two sets at plus 375. I've got Kachanov and Tsitsipas to both break in the first set at plus 250. And I've got I mentioned the over on the breaks, over 5.5 at plus 135. I also have both players to be broken in their first service game at 35 to 1. I don't think that's going to happen, but 35 to 1, I couldn't resist. I think that
Okay.
so I'm heavy on the breaks. I'm in general heavy on the successive returns in this match. I think that Kachanov's serve game is not that is not that amazing. I think it's pretty average. Tsitsipas's return is gotten to the point where it's pretty average. Tsitsipas's serve and +1 is great. But Kachanov's defense is also pretty good, and I think the books are probably underrating his ability to defend and Kachanov's ability to win points on return. I like it more from the Tsitsipas end than the Kachanov end from a matchup perspective, but there was so much plus money on the breaks for Kachanov that I was hitting it mostly because of the plus money. I don't think those will all come to fruition, but I think that there's a better chance than the odds are being shown. It was more about the price. Otherwise, I parlayed Tsitsipas to win and serve the most doubles at +330, so I kind of tailed you on that.
But you took the aces out of account, right?
I took the aces out of account.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I think the aces is going to be really close. And that's pretty much what I got. I mean, I have a couple other goofy things, but really that's I have the over on the doubles, over on 5.5 doubles. I think it'll be.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on guys in this match serving, and I think that'll cause more doubles. So that's my logic there. But that's pretty much what I got.
Since I looked actually yesterday or last night, I see way more prop bets up. Like they keep adding.
Yeah, that's why. So last night there weren't very many up, which is why it was kind of annoying because I was trying to do my prop betting last night because I knew the match was obviously tonight and I wanted to get them in on time. But then unfortunately they all pop up at like a couple hours before. So man, what's in the Squares game? You ever played the Squares game before?
I have not.
Are you that much of a? You're not that much of a.
I don't even want to look at it.
It's terrible. Basically,
I did it a little bit for the NFL.
You have a 1 out of 100 chance of winning, and they pay you at 85 to 1. So it's
I
like
see 85 to 1, and I'm like, that's enticing, but
no, but you have literally a 1% chance of winning, right? Because there's no way you can convince me that any model could tell you exactly how many points each guy is going to win.
Right. So they should be paying you to 100 to 1, right?
Well, they have to make money though somehow, right?
They take the juice, yeah. Right.
Yeah. But it's like the ultimate juice game, right? It's like betting the coin flip in the Super Bowl.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I've done it for the NFL before, but I don't know. There's so much stuff which like you can use stats to kind of determine if a bet has value at similar prices in a way. So I would resort to those bets than the Squares game.
Is there anything on the long shots you like? Like I've always liked like the not to face a break point. Like the guy just serves the match of his life and it's 250 to 1. I don't think there's any chance it happens. So
there's no chance of it happening because of just like the tension in the match. You know, there's going to be some tight moments. So if I look at all of these long shot bets, probably Tsitsipas to win the first 8 points of the match is probably my favorite.
Break to love. Yeah. Those are always tough though. Like
it's tough, but it's like, you know, what if one player just comes out really slow out of the gate, has a ton of nerves, right?
It's just like how often do you see a break to love, right? Like you need a break to love in there, and you see that so rarely. Like just a break to love happens like maybe 1 or 2% of the time. It's so rare.
Yeah. I mean, if I could get those odds for Djokovic against Paul, the fact that Paul hasn't been in a
we'll preview Djokovic Paul in a second. I mean, other than that, anything else you like, or do we move on to Djokovic?
Not really. That's about it. I mean, the main thing on this match is I think it's a great live betting opportunity, right? Based on
I would agree. Yeah, if you're going to take a side, I think that's the way to play it, is to wait and live bet it.
Yeah, wait and live bet it. So, all right, let's transition to the Djokovic Paul match. Yeah,
I mean, so setting the scene here, right? We have 0-time champion Georgi Djokovic. I think he's subbing in, and he probably still has he and the line probably is, and Paul probably Georgi probably has a better chance of beating Tommy Paul than Tommy Paul has of beating Novak. I mean, but this is the night match. Looking at the line here, I've seen it as high as 8.5. 8's actually probably being that's on the more generous side to Paul that the books have taken. I've seen Paul at either +8 or +8.5.
I wonder if this line has moved down since there were rumors that Djokovic's dad was in pro-Russia protests.
Well, I mean,
the fact that he might be kicked out of the country. So I don't know if that's playing games with him mentally.
I mean, I'm not concerned about that. Like, I'm really not
concerned about that. Okay, all right.
No.
Let's get back to the tennis.
And I was really, really happy about Azarenka's press conference. I thought she did a really good job of handling that. They were asking, being in Belarus, and they asked her about it, and yeah, she is.
Okay.
You had a good answer. Anyways, back to men's tennis.
Yep.
The money line is comical. Like, how is Paul plus 1,000? Like, you have to be dumb to hit that for Tommy Paul, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's a giveaway. Like, this should be like plus 5,000 or something. Like, I think Tommy Paul has a 2% chance of winning this match, and that's being honest.
Mm-hmm.
And like, actually, I
agree
think
with
that if you're insane enough, and if you have enough money and can withstand the variance, like, I think there's plenty of EV on betting Djokovic on the minus 2,000 here. It's so boring, and I would never do it because, like, you bet one unit to make 0.05. Like, what's the point? But
Right.
I do think that I think there's EV there. Like, this is a joke money line. I think the book just doesn't know how to place this.
Mm-hmm.
I think the 8 is actually a fair line, Manny. I don't know. Like, Djokovic covered 11 against Rublev. I could see you being pro Djokovic here and taking Djokovic and laying the 8. Would you do that or not?
I see so many props that I like better. I would side towards 8, to be honest. If I could get plus money on it, I would. If it was 7.5 at the price it is now, I would take it. But at 8, it's just still a little bit much. Like, I actually, in a way, I actually think Tommy Paul has a better chance, or a better chance to make it competitive than, say, a Rublev or even a de Minaur. Maybe de Minaur is equal, maybe a little bit. I actually trust Paul to hit through the court better than de Minaur. I think they're equal in terms of movement, Paul and de Minaur, but I think in terms of hands, he has a better.
I'm going to disagree with you there. I think de Minaur's a better mover by far, but
Paul's a pretty damn good mover. I think Paul hits better shots through the court, though. He has more.
That's the difference, right? Like, de Minaur can move, but that's really all he can do. He's basically like the professional version of a pusher.
Right.
Whereas, like, Paul can actually, like, he's more of a counter puncher. And I think that I actually think this is I think this is a tricky matchup for Djokovic. There's just no chance he loses, and this could be a runaway. Like, obviously Djokovic is the better player. This could be a run. I mean, this could be.
But
I don't think
Paul has a better backhand than de Minaur, right? So you need the thing.
I don't think de Minaur is even the right comp for Paul, right? I mean, what's similar about them? They're both.
Well, I'm just comparing the matchups because Djokovic covered easily against those two guys, and I actually think Paul presents more problems than both of those guys. That's my point. So
that I agree with.
Even though he's lower ranked, I just think he actually presents more problems from a matchup standpoint. I actually think. I mean, I brought this up on the last pod. I think Rublev, even though he's a top 10 player, he's the perfect matchup for Djokovic. Absolute perfect matchup.
Well, I'm going to add two things in there, right? Like, I mean, so I don't know, because I think, except for the time that Rublev beat him in Belgrade when Djokovic wasn't playing well, and that was on clay.
Right.
On hard court, Djokovic has smacked Rublev now 3 times badly, right? Like, badly. Like, where Rublev didn't get more than, like, Rublev got like less than half as many games as Djokovic. Like, it's been ugly.
It's been ugly. I mean, but Rublev has so many holes in his game that are so easily exposed if you can defend.
I also think there's a mental piece of it. Like, I watched a little bit of last night, and like, Rublev never even looked like he thought he could win the match. And I think that there's an additional piece where, like, as a borderline top 5 player, I'm sure Rublev's been in the top 5, right? So as a borderline top 5 player, like, that's a match you should expect to win, if not be competitive in, right? Like Rublev should expect to win slams, or should expect to be in competition for slams. If you want to be in competition for slams, you have to be in competition with Novak Djokovic. So, like, it's very disappointing for Rublev to go out there and get smacked like that. But at the same token, like, I don't think he believes that he's not going to get smacked.
No, in his interview after he beat Rune, like, it just, his body language just felt like he kind of got as far in the tournament as he could, right? He knew he was going to play Novak. I agree with you. I don't think he believed he could win, but his like, just hitting big from the back of the court is not going to beat Novak, right? And only having a big forehand. You need to be multidimensional. You need to also be able to hit big on both ends. Also, Rublev, for a top 10 player, he's a below average mover, right? Like,
I would agree with that. And you need to be able to.
He's not good.
And
he's
not
good
be able to hit balls. So I think we're saying the same thing. You also need to be able to, like, come in. So Rublev, like, he doesn't come in. Like, a lot of times he'll actually come in and move back.
You have to take time away from from Novak.
Yeah, I mean,
Right?
you have to beat Novak, you almost have to outplay Novak. And like, I think Paul will try to do that. Like Paul and Novak kind of have similar styles, I would say.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, I think mentally, like, there's no expectation on Tommy Paul here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like for Tommy Paul to win a set would surprise most people.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I think if like no matter what happens, I think Paul still has reason to fight because like you can always fight for respect, right? Like whereas like for Rublev,
Yeah.
like for Rublev to win a set off of Djokovic is not an accomplishment. Or at least it should not be for him. Like he should expect
Right.
to
Good
beat
point.
Djokovic, but I think he knows he can't. So and on top of that, I think Paul can force Djokovic into errors because I think Paul can move around the court, create points, make Djokovic
Mm-hmm.
hit balls, and like if Djokovic isn't playing well, I think Paul could take a set here.
Yeah.
I think whereas I don't. Yeah, I mean, I should have hit the Rublev line way harder.
Oh, I hit that hard. I think I won the plus 550 of straight sets and under 18 and a
Yeah,
half.
and that was a dumb thing. I should have tailed you on that.
So I mean,
there was no
I love
reason
that.
not
I even
to.
put a unit and a half on it because I was like,
I honestly just believed that like Paul was like, or that Rublev was like would fight, like because Rublev usually has pretty good intensity. I thought he'd have enough intensity to get to 7-5 in a set, but yeah.
So the line in that match was 6.5, right? When it closed. The line here is 8, and I actually think Paul has a better chance. That being said, I don't necessarily, it could go totally the other way where Paul is super nervous, right? So I don't know.
I don't think nervous. I mean, if Novak plays well, it's going to be a pounding. Like it's like Paul can't out hit Novak, so like.
So I don't want to take the plus
Novak's
8
probably
either.
a better rallier. Like Novak's a better version of Tommy Paul, so it's gonna. The over-under at 30.5, I mean, that's basically the same thing as the +8, right? There's nothing special there in that over-under line. Like, because, I mean, Tommy Paul never wins this match, so you're basically betting -8 in a different way. So nothing really to see there.
I think for him to win a set was pretty high, right?
It was like +200, maybe, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. I didn't take it, but
I didn't either. I think there's better. I think the props here are the play.
I agree.
And I actually have a significant number of props here on Tommy Paul. But I'll let you go ahead and start, Manny.
Okay. I only have Djokovic props. I'm just like he's just so much better than Tommy Paul, right? I don't like betting for the worst, like when you bet for a player, I don't like betting for the worst player because it's just like you just know they don't have a chance. So I prefer Djokovic props. If you're going to do a Paul prop, it's going to be like double faults or something on the negative side. But what I have here is I have Djokovic to lead 2-0 after 2 games at +200. I know you have a different play, a contrarian play to that.
Yeah, I just think that like, so the reason I don't like that is because like for any, I mean, what percentage of points do you think Djokovic is going to win on the Paul serve? Like Djokovic only breaks 28% of the time. Is Paul's not that bad. Like, I don't think that so you have to think there's like a 35+% chance that Djokovic breaks. He only breaks 28%.
I actually do. I think there's some early match nerves. I know I consider nerves way more than you do, but I think
so then that's what you're playing on. You got to play on nerves because like just statistically, like it makes no sense based on solely the fact that
I also think every Tommy Paul service game is going to be an adventure. Like if he's going to hold, it's going to probably be to 30 at least in every game. Like
I agree with you on that. I think every Tommy Paul service game is going to be an adventure. Paul, I'm not saying Tommy Paul's a great server. He's good. No. I think he's around the ATP average, so he's average. But Djokovic, I mean, yeah, I just think that this +200 it should be like +300 or +400.
So your play is Paul to hold the first 3 service games, right?
It is, and he's at +600. And I think that so basically you're assuming that every game for Tommy Paul is a little better than a coin flip. I think it's probably like somewhere in the range of like 53% or something. You have to believe that Paul's 53% likely to hold.
If it's like 5-2 in the first set and Paul serving this stay in the set, and then Djokovic has a service game to close it out, then I think you're right.
Well, it's the first 3, right? So it would need to be 0-1, 1-2, and 2-3. I need 3 games, not 4.
Yeah.
If it was 4 holds, I probably wouldn't take it. But I think that do I think that Djokovic is going to win this match in a runaway? Yeah, but to assume that any ATP player is a coin flip to hold against any other ATP player is just like it's just
It's
insane to me.
Djokovic semifinal of a Grand Slam where he doesn't lose. I don't know. I
So
like it
you
at plus
think
200.
you think Paul can't hold more than 50% of the time against Djokovic?
It's probably going to be about 50%, in my opinion.
I mean, that's just insane. Like that's insane. I mean, you're betting that like Djokovic is going to be just in so much more of a zone, and Paul's going to be nervous because like the serve is an advantage on the ATP tour, and like nobody
I get
breaks
it, but
anybody
the
else half
first,
the time.
but the first two game, like the first Paul game, to me, it's probably Djokovic has a 65% chance of breaking just because of early match nerves. Just
Oh,
because
I think that's insane. I mean, that's insane. Like there's no. I mean, you have to think that nerves swing by that nerves double Djokovic's
in
chances
this
of
case,
breaking.
yes, night match.
I mean,
For, Djokovic is going to be in his zone. He's going to look to get that early lead. That first game is going to be really tough. I think.
I think that's insane. Like I think it's insane. Like
I had a lot of confidence in this prop bet. I think.
I think it's insane. Like
Okay.
it's just like any player on the ATP tour, like nobody breaks at a like Djokovic is one of the best breakers in the game. And he breaks at a 30% clip. Like nobody breaks anybody at a 40% clip. It's just not a thing. Like maybe Nadal on red clay at Roland Garros, but like otherwise it's not a thing. Like
I agree it's not a thing. I just this is a very situational bet. If it was Djokovic to lead 2-0 after the first two games in the second set, I would say no.
What if it was against Rublev?
I'd be more enticed, especially if you get better than plus 200, because probably the books have more respect for Rublev than Paul, but probably not still.
So this is solely you think that Tommy Paul's gonna be so nervous that he's just gonna like be completely. See, I don't
that's
know.
a big like factor in this bet. So
it has to be because that's the only explanation that you can. I mean, that's pretty much the only explanation you can have. So I mean, I guess that what it is what it is. I mean, I think it's insane, but yeah, fine.
okay. All right.
Like I said, I don't think. By the way, I don't think that Paul is likely to hold the first three service games. I think that plus 600 is way too good of a price there. Like I think, like I would take that at like probably plus 400 or plus 300. Like it's just like you're talking about a guy, a professional level server, and this isn't like Yoshi Nishioka or something who like doesn't hold serve very much. You know what I mean? Or this isn't Diego Schwartzman. Like there's no.
I get your logic. Trust me. I just it's the situation. It's the fact that it's at the beginning of the match when Djokovic is going to be in his zone.
Well, he might not be in his zone though, right? He double faulted the first point against Rublev.
He's going to look to kind of gain that upper hand quickly in this match and not let Paul kind of get a feel for it and try to, get his teeth into it, so he's going to be on lockdown mode.
But he wasn't against Rublev because Rublev he just cooked.
He also knows Rublev better. I mean, he also, I don't know. This is purely a situational bet. It's just based on the occasion. Also, if this match was like a first round or something, I wouldn't play it. I lost you there. What'd you say?
I said we probably beat this horse dead. We can probably move on.
Okay, sounds good. So this kind of coincides with this bet. Paul to serve first double fault at plus 125. I just like that. I just see Paul being tight to start the match. I don't know. First semifinal.
I always hate those bets because you just don't know who's going to serve first, and whoever serves first, it's a massive advantage.
That's
and
true.
I don't know of any place that has coin flip stats. I don't have any coin flip stats, meaning like who likes to choose to serve or choose to return. So
right.
I always like to stay away from those personally.
Okay.
But it may not be terrible.
It's purely a kind of a play on nerves as well. So Djokovic over 8.5 aces versus Paul. So Djokovic has actually been trying to serve bigger. He's been trying to hit bigger actually from the ground, be more aggressive. So and I think they're against Rublev, he had like 15 aces. Is that right? Even in a 1, 2, and 4 match.
So I went contrarian here. I went under 8.5 aces.
Interesting.
I think Tommy Paul's actually pretty good at preventing aces. I can't remember the stats offhand, but I think he might be one of the top guys on the tour. I'm gonna look this up. I think he only gets aced like might be like as low as like 5% of the time, and the ATP average is 9. Give me 5 seconds to look this up. Yeah, Tommy Paul gets aced on average 5% of the time. So I don't see like, so because of that, I didn't bet the Djokovic aces. I also think that Djokovic, so for how much I just talked up Tommy Paul, I don't know how many. I don't know that Novak's going to need to hit a whole lot of aces. I don't know that there's going to be a whole lot of service points for Novak, because I think there's probably going to be more easy holds than not. So I am playing the contrarian side of that, and I'm playing the under on the aces there.
I just think Djokovic has been looking to go bigger on the serve recently.
Well, that's been a thing for a while, right? But
he wants to win more easy points. I think he wants to save his hamstring.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's been really good on serve in this tournament. So, with the exception of when he played de Minaur, he's hit a lot of aces. So, but the thing is, like, I don't know. So it's 8.5, right? Like, how many games do you think there's going to be in this match? I think I see probably like 28 games in this match is probably the most realistic, 28 to 30 games. That's the over-under.
Yeah.
So that's 14 service games. So I think Djokovic is probably going to get to serve about 90 points, maybe less. So in that small number of points, 8.5 is a lot of aces.
It's 10%.
That's 10%. That's a lot. I mean, Djokovic, in this tournament, he served 16% aces against Rublev. We talked about that. 6 against
Well, I mean, from a fan perspective, I'm hoping that Paul makes it slightly competitive, like it can.
I mean, if this goes 4 sets, I think you get there. Like, this is kind of a
can Paul, even if Paul pushes like it to a 7-5 set or something kind of longer, where I feel like a couple extra service games would just make this bet easier to hit. I don't know. I would probably place the line at 9.5 if I was a book. So the fact that you're getting 8.5, I just thought it was slightly over. I mean, I don't think I'm going to win this by a big margin. I just think it was slightly on the low side. Granted that Djokovic had 15 aces in a 1, 2, and 4 match.
Yeah, I hear you.
So, yeah. So
I hear you, but I think that my thought is just not enough points to get to rack up the aces, and Paul being so good on return.
It's a good point too.
That'll be the deciding factor there.
So my parlay of this match is Djokovic to win 3 sets to love, Djokovic and in the entire match over 14.5 aces, and then over 4.5 doubles.
So what odds are you getting there? You better be getting like 50 to 1.
No, plus 650.
I think that's insane. Like, again, so I can see the Djokovic 3-0. I think that's probably likely, but 15 aces in 3 sets is going to be tough against Paul. So Paul is one of the best guys at not getting aced. So that's why that would be my I would be pretty I
think Djokovic could get to 10. Do you think Paul can serve 5 aces?
Oh, it's a total of 15.
It's a total. I feel better about both that. Guys. No, for both guys.
Okay. Oh, I thought it was Djokovic over 15.
No,
that's my fault.
Both guys in the match.
And it's both guys getting to 5 doubles. Okay. I feel better about this then. This is okay. I don't love it.
Okay.
I think it's okay. I think this
you
is
think
like
Paul can get to 6 aces or 5 aces?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, like, I think probably like I actually looked at this pretty hard, and I was slightly against this, but I don't hate this. I thought this was the one with Djokovic over.
No, it's the total for both.
It's guys. The total. I don't hate this nearly as much. I think this is close to okay. I considered taking this. I didn't, but I considered it.
Okay.
I don't think it's horrendous. That's a pretty good parlay above it, man, with the Sabalenka Rybakina.
Oh yeah, that was an amazing parlay that I hit yesterday. Sabalenka and Rybakina to win 2 love, to win 2 sets of love. And I got
some other stuff on this. I don't know, Manny. What other props do you have on this match? I got a few others.
That's all I placed.
So I've got the under on 40 minutes in the first set. I don't know how you feel about that.
It's actually like these props. It's just for these late round matches. There are just so many of them. It's like it's kind of overwhelming.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So I hit the under on 40 aces on 40 minutes in the first set. You're not gonna like this. I hit Tommy Paul to get more than 1.5 breaks of serve at plus money, plus 150.
Say that again.
I have Tommy Paul to get over 1.5 breaks on Novak's serve at plus 150.
Ooh,
I did it.
I do
I did
not
it because
like
it's
that.
plus 150, and 1.5 breaks is not a lot of breaks. Like, but I hear why you're concerned. Like, if you're buying into Novak, that's probably not a good bet. I'm probably buying a little harder than Tommy Paul. That said, I have the under on the total time of 2.5 hours, 2 hours 25 minutes. I think this wraps up pretty quick.
I probably I'm gonna play that too. I like that.
I've got Djokovic to win and no doubles at plus 1,800.
Djokovic to win and no doubles at plus 1,800.
Yeah.
I love that.
Are you tailing that?
I'm definitely tailing that. I love that. That's awesome. That probably wouldn't be good for my parlay, but it's a good hedge, right? Because I need over 4.5 doubles.
Yeah. Yep.
Unless Paul just completely crumbles mentally and just goes, you know.
And then the other one I have is I've got Paul to break serve in the first set at plus 175. And I've got the under on 18.5 total games in the first 2 sets at plus 125. So I basically did a whole bunch of propping on plus money stuff. So we'll see how it goes.
I like the under 18.5 in sets 1 and 2 combined. I do like that. I'm gonna tail you on that one.
Oh man, score updates 1-2 first set. So I my
15
my both players to lose serve in the first game did not happen. It's been 3 easy holds so far. So yeah, that was not.
See, this is really dumb by Bovada. No, Djokovic to serve 0 doubles at plus 1,600, and then Djokovic to win and serve no doubles is plus 1,800. So you're basically getting plus 200 extra, or you're getting.
Yeah, you're basically getting Djokovic at like minus 1,000 or something,
Yeah.
which is I think is amazing. Like I said, I would take Djokovic at like minus 4,000.
Of course, you add that.
What?
And then Paul to win, Djokovic to serve the most aces and most double faults, you're getting at plus 2,200. Like some of these props, it doesn't really make sense how they come. You could find some good value on these, right?
Yeah, you can. You can.
If you like really read
especially the high plus money stuff. Like, and that's a lot of this with the two, right? Like we're talking about how like I'm backing Paul on a lot of these props, but it's not really that I'm backing Paul. It's more that there's just like I think there's good money on it. Like
I actually like Djokovic to win 1, 2, and 4 at plus at 200 to 1. I actually kind of like that.
That's such an exact score, man. Like I don't hate it. Like it's just,
but
it probably is a good bet.
It's
just,
kind of
it's
how
like
I see the match going, though. You know
what?
That's how I see the match going. Paul coming out tight, right? Easy first set. Second set, kind of similar, but a little bit better. And then third set, he has really nothing to lose. He just kind of red lines, and Djokovic gets a late break and closes it out. Like that. That's kind of how I see this match going.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
So I don't know if I'll hit that, but
oh, Tsitsipas breaks. Good news. So Tsitsipas 3-1 right away.
That's not good for my Kachanov first set bet.
Oh, the other bet I hit on that is I hit Kachanov in straights at plus, not Kachanov. I hit Tsitsipas in the straights at plus 220. 220 was just too good of odds for me. I probably wouldn't hit it like plus 180, but I thought there's a chance.
Straight sets.
Yeah, I'm nervous about Kachanov, man. I mean, obviously, I'm saying that now that he broke, that Tsitsipas broke, but
no, it's already kind of evident, like just kind of peeking at this match that like top 10 players are just going to expose your holes, right? And
yeah,
Kachanov has some clear holes in this game. So yeah. All right. So I think that wraps it up. I like some of your props. I'm definitely going to tail you on that. The Djokovic to win the match and serve no doubles. I love that at plus 1,800. I think that's phenomenal. And then I like the under 18.5 total games in the first 2 sets. I like that a lot too. So yeah.
All right. So I guess we're on now
is there a bet Djokovic to not face a break point? Did you see that?
It wasn't great. I saw it. It wasn't great. It was only like, I think it was like plus 250 or something insane.
What?
You can look it up, but it was like, it was the most insane thing I've seen. Like, again, like Tommy Paul, I'm not saying Tommy Paul's the best player on the ATP tour, but like, he's an ATP player. This is a semifinal of a Grand Slam.
I know.
Like these lines are disrespectful. I mean, they really are. Like to not face a break point, like Rublev had 5.
Yeah, that's true. I was expecting to get that at like 20-1. I might hit it then, but if it's only 200 plus 200, hell no. That is a little disrespectful.
Trying to see, I'm trying to refind it again.
That being said, I don't think Djokovic to lead 2-0 after 2 games is disrespectful.
Oh, I think that's oh, so actually it's 900. My bad. It's plus 900. So I still don't think it's. Yeah, I still think like I mean like it's too easy to have one bad game, right? Like
yeah. Although I do like Djokovic to win a point in every return game at plus 250. I don't mind that.
I think it's be close.
Every Paul service game is just going to be an adventure.
So. Yeah. Trying to look and see. I actually looked at that. And I can't remember where I landed on that. I don't. I think there'll be one game that Paul sneaks into love. Like again, like you know, even if you think that it's like a 50-50 coin flip, that still means if you think that every point's a 50-50 coin flip, that means that 1 out of every 16 games, Tommy Paul's gonna hold the love.
You're right.
Like, but I don't think every point's a coin flip. Like, I think it's like I think Djokovic is gonna win like 40% of his points on return, which is insane. That's an insanely high number. But like, even with that, it still doesn't make sense to bet that.
Yeah, because you don't know how much he's going to be playing the score, right? You know, he might be up 5-1.
I mean, it's not even that. It's just like on the pure math of it. Like Tommy Paul's going to have probably 13 to 14 service games.
Yeah, you talked me out of that one. That's true. That's a lot of service games.
Like,
yeah. All right, Kachanov has 2 break points.
Also, my both. Oh, Tsitsipas saves 1. I'm probably ahead of you.
Yeah.
But it's yeah. So my both players to break serve in the first set of that match. That plus 250 could be coming through, which would be nice because everything else is not coming through. I had I think I'm already down to well, I'm only down 2 bets so far. Not horrendous.
All right, you want to just quickly recap our quarterfinal bets?
Yeah, we can recap the quarterfinals. Yeah. You can go first. Well, let's start with day 1. So what was the first day of the quarters again?
It was Korda and Kachanov, and then where is it?
Yuri and Tsitsipas, or am I mixing up my matches?
So
yeah.
We had Kachanov money line on Korda. I think that was a great play. I mean, injury or no injury, I think like that was fantastic. I mean, my book actually paid me out for winning that bet or for.
Yeah, I got to get on a book that'll pay me out for that stuff because it's yeah.
I mean, a push is not bad, I guess, but that's only if they. Well, the thing is, if they pay you out for a bet where a guy retires, usually that means you'll lose the bet if you pick the wrong guy. You know what I mean?
Right. That's the problem.
Whereas some books, they just have pushes across the board, right?
Yeah. So it doesn't really hurt you or help you unless you're like factoring potential injuries in. But I mean, I guess you could have, because you could have said Korda was going to be worn down. And actually that we did talk about how Korda was going to have to be lower energy, worn down. So like we probably should have, like, you're not prescribed, but like that was part of our reasoning, and clearly that's what happened. But I think I think the wrist injury was more of a wear injury than anything else. But yeah, so
probably true. I mean, yeah. But Kachanov was the better player when both guys were healthy, right? So I think that was a good play, especially since you get plus money on that. Like, that was great. Yeah. And then I mean, I did well here because I got pushes on exactly 5 sets. I got a push on under 11.5 aces, which I probably would have won had that match continued. So I guess that's not really a win for me, but a push is a win in gambling.
I love it, baby.
Yeah, Kachanov, Korda to have the same number of doubles. I actually lucked out there because Korda, I think, had 2 doubles and Kachanov didn't have any. So if that match continued, I think, I probably would have lost that. So getting the push there would be good. And over 190 minutes, if that third set finished, I wouldn't have hit that either. So I kind of lucked out on a couple of my bets here. But the fact that they paid me out for the money line was tremendous. So I actually did well in that match. The Tsitsipas Lechka match, that was actually painful. So I had over 34.5 games. I thought initially I had over 3.5 sets, but I actually hit the over on games. So if Lechko was able to steal that second set or find a
You
way
have
to
been
squeak
golden.
out the third,
Yeah,
I would have
yeah. So
easily hit
it's going to
that.
basically be the same thing.
I would have easily hit the over on minutes. Tsitsipas is actually prone to playing at least one tiebreaker per match because his
He
return
is.
game isn't
He
that
is.
good. Same thing happened against Griekspoor, right? Where he was clearly the better player, but still the second set went to a breaker. So I thought that was a good play. That one I won. Tsitsipas had, I think, this probably wasn't a good play on the double faults going with Tsitsipas, just because Lechko was kind of redlining the entire match and he knew that he had to go bigger than he normally does. So that probably wasn't the right play. I probably should have gone with Lechko there. The 6.5 hit, that was a great bet. So like the set spread wouldn't have hit, but the game spread did hit in that match.
Yeah, I had the same thing. And I split just like you did. I tailed you on both of those, or you tailed me. I think we tailed each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had a bunch of stuff on Lechka to hold early on, and he got broken the first game, so that stunk. Especially because I think he only got broken twice in the match. It just happened to be the first game. So like, if he would have
Yeah.
held, yeah, so that stunk. Kind of unlucky there.
But yeah, I mean, that being said, if that match, if Lechka squeaks out the second set, we hit on all these bets, right? So they were
Yeah. I mean,
bets.
it was a frustrating overall. That was a
It's just a little bit frustrating.
little bit of frustrating. Yeah, I did hit on over 18 and a half games in the first two sets. I thought it was a gimme.
Yeah.
In the Lechka Tsitsipas, just because I didn't think that. Yeah, I didn't think it was gonna be six. I thought the only way I'd be in trouble there is 6-3-3-6, and I didn't see that. I thought if Lechka won a set, it'd be tighter than that.
But that being said, Lechka did impress me. Like, his stock didn't lower from that match. Like, he did play really good tennis.
I thought he did what I expect him to do. I don't think it didn't raise or lower my stock on him. Like my stock on him is already super high, right? So
Right. That's true.
I I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it was.
Good
I
point.
expect him to be competitive, but to lose convincingly.
I mean, we on this 6.5 though, we actually got lucky because I think it was 4-3 or 3-4, Lechko was serving and he had 2 break points that he saved.
Yeah. No, we got lucky in the 6.5
So we
for sure.
get lucky
For sure.
there.
But I'm gonna flip it and say the other way too, because like if Lechka had served first, then 6.5 we wouldn't have had the question, right? Because it was only 2 breaks. So to have 2 breaks and to lose by 7 would have been really, really unlucky.
True.
So
yeah.
All
right, let's move on to Paul Shelton. So I mean, this was a great match.
Yeah, the match itself. Well,
I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. Like I mean,
probably
it
more
was a
because
good
I
match.
won my
It was a
two
good
bets.
match. I didn't think it was a great match. I thought it was a good match.
Well, I won my 2 bets, so it was great.
Yeah, I bet all over the board. I thought I really called what was going to happen in this match. I had the under on the breaks. I said on the Twitter that it was going to be a lot of holds, which it was.
Right.
I had the under on Tommy Paul aces. Tommy Paul just doesn't hit that many aces, period. I had the over on Ben Shelton doubles.
That was good. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I lost money on the match because I had a bunch of money on things like Shelton money line and 2+ tie breaks at like 33-1. Like I think on my if you take out like my crazy like long shot stuff, I was positive here. And I had a lot of stuff on.
I was
Shelton
all over
I thought the books
Paul
were,
in this match.
What?
I was all over Paul. I hit the -3.5 games. I hit which I got lucky on, and I hit the -1.5 sets. That match should have been straight sets, to be honest.
It should have. You didn't get lucky on the 3.5 games. That should have been straight sets. Paul mentally fell asleep at up 2 sets in a break.
But the fact that the second set or the third set was 7-5 and not 7-6, I still needed him to win by a break. Like if it went to a tiebreaker, I would have lost that. So from that sense,
no, if you would have 7-6 would have been better for you. You've had Paul -3.5.
The third set, Shelton won 7-5, right? So that made it so I needed the fourth set to be 6-4 or 7-5. If the fourth set was 7-6, I would have lost that.
Oh, right, makes sense. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, makes sense.
So I kind of, it would have been painful if I lost that, but still I kind of landed on the lucky side, I feel. And then the 1.5 sets, I thought that was a great bet. Like that was, I think I put 2 units on that. That was definitely my play of the day. I just, Paul, just the movement gap is so big there.
But Shelton's a good mover. I mean, Shelton's a really good mover. What he needs to work on, Shelton, is balls in the run, right? Like he's running forward. We talked about during the match. Like,
but that's part of movement, right? Because Paul hits way better on the run, and that who cares?
Yeah, but so I guess I'm gonna split things here because I think that Shelton's movement when he's loading up to hit big is really, really precise. Like I'm amazed by how good Shelton's movement is in like small spaces. His movement isn't as good in big spaces. Does that make sense?
Like moving out wide.
Right. Like when he has to cover more than half a tennis court, he's not good. But when he's able, when he only has to move like
in and out of corners, right? That's what you're saying.
Well, like when he has to move, like when he has to take the extra step to load up for that forehand, he's really good at that. Like really good at that. Like he moves, even for a guy with big strokes, he moves really well across like quarter tennis courts to get to balls. He moves really well moving forward to get to
He does move well going forward. That's true.
And to get to short slices and to get to short balls, he does a really good job of he does a really good job of getting to the perfect position to be able to hit big and consistent on the short balls, which a lot of big hitters don't.
No, the guy has a lot of potential, and he's explosive, right? That's I think.
But part of what's impressive is he's explosive partially because his movement is so precise.
But his rally tolerance is nowhere near as good as Paul's, right? So once the rally went more than
I guess
shots,
yeah, but I hate that term there because I think so. I guess this is an interesting conversation. So when I think of rally tolerance, I think of something slightly different than consistency. So when I think of rally tolerance, I think more of are you willing to sustain and to play in a rally? Whereas when I think of consistency, I think of can you play a rally? Whereas I think with Shelton's more a lack of consistency. It's not that he bails out. He just he can't make enough balls in a row in the court.
Yeah, but I think that's where that side to side movement is exposed, right? Because Paul is better at it. That's what makes him a better player.
I think that's part of it. I think he's also just not, even when he's on when he's moving, when he's moving, he's just not he's not able to hit well. He moves in terms of getting from point A to point B relatively quickly. He's not bad at that. He's just bad at he's just not good at hitting defensive shots. You can tell he's a college player because he's not good at hitting defensive shots.
That lack of improvising kind of when he's on the stretch, that's a gap that he has that he needs to if he wants to make that next step, that's what he needs, right?
Yeah.
Paul, when he's on the stretch, he's able to improvise, right, and get that ball deep and kind of stay in the points, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's a huge gap there, but I mean. Trust me, it was a pleasure seeing Shelton. I haven't watched as nearly. I watched more of him in this tournament than I have his entire career. So, and his career has been short, but I was very pleasantly surprised to see a guy like that come up. I mean, it's his first time out of the country, and to make a quarter of a Grand Slam is an insane.
Well, he seems to be really mentally tough, which is really impressive. He seems to have mentally what it would take to win a Grand Slam.
Yeah. And then we hit on the Djokovic Rublev match. So this was, an amazing hit to hit this 3-love under 18 and a half games.
Yeah, that was smart. I should have backed you on that. I don't know why I didn't.
Amazing.
Yeah, just said that plus 550 was just so obvious. It was just stupid.
Yeah. So that was clearly my bet of the round, but all right, so that wraps it up for this show. Enjoy the semifinals. I apologize for the late podcast, but as always, you could get our picks on the Twitter handle. We will be back for the final, probably on a Friday night episode where we'll review all these props again. We'll probably even dive a little bit deeper into each of them since there's only one match to focus on, and hopefully we don't do it that late or
we'll do it Friday night, and we'll have a whole day. So we'll try to post it, either late Friday night or early Saturday morning.
Right.
And that should give everybody plenty of time to listen. We apologize. These these have come out kind of late.
Mhm.
It's always a challenge. We talked about before. Manny and I have full-time jobs, so we have to work around that,
We
unfortunately.
wish we didn't. We wish we had time to do this full time, but unfortunately that's not life for us.
It may be a little easier in the European season too. We'll see, because the European season everything's during the day, so we can probably do recaps and things at night and get things posted like late night or early morning. And then there's a little have to be late night though. See, this is what stinks. Like it's hard, man. It's
Yeah,
just hard.
it is tough, but we'll make sure we get content out for you guys. Another
And
thing,
for the 10 of you that love us, we know you exist, Klaus. We know you're out there, buddy.
yeah, Match Point 9, we appreciate your feedback and listening, and it's great. It's so much fun. We're having the time of our lives. So
I don't know if I'm having time of our lives, man. I think you are. I don't know.
I am.
This is an exciting time for me, but it's out of a time of my life. Like I've had some better times. I mean,
All right. Okay. And then we had an idea of maybe doing a live stream at some point, and maybe, watching a match on camera and kind of like talking about the live betting markets. So that's something we kind of aspire to do in the near future. So
aspire.
all
I
right.
agree. We'll have to increase
All right, guys,
the
enjoy the matches. We'll see you guys soon. Thanks a lot.
All right, bye.